Hey everyone, Isotoilet here. Today we're going to talk about the smartest character in the Skibidi Toilet universe. I think no one has any doubts that it's Skibidi Scientist. How did this grandpa manage to fool the whole alliance and create so much trouble for them? I will tell you all the secrets of Skibidi the Scientist. We will talk about how many clones he has and how this guy can surprise us in the future. Also, I'll tell you what can wait for us in the new episode 68 in Skibidi's bunker. Watch this video to the end to know more about the Skibidi Toilet universe and be a real Giga-Chad. Get your tea and snacks ready, you're gonna absolutely enjoy it. Let's go. Skibidi Scientist appeared in the early episodes very rarely, and it's unlikely any of you would have thought he could be a leader or anything. We saw G-Toilet much more often, and the other Skibidis were clearly under his command. But with the TV Men and TV Titan appearing, G-Man started losing more and more. I can't remember any battles at all that he won unconditionally at this time. That's when I started to have theories that G-Man wasn't actually the leader, and there was someone much more influential than him among the toilets. And I speculated that this mysterious shadow boss might be Skibidi Scientist, because he invented parasites, and we know that parasites can control anyone. But also, Skibidi Toilets had a lot of cool inventions, mutants and huge fighting machines, and someone had to invent, build, and improve it all. I'm sure Skibidi Scientist had something to do with it, but it's unlikely he worked alone to create it all. Let's remember everything we know about this guy and try to find out who he really is. The first time Skibidi Scientist appeared in episode 16, a spy camera spotted him in one of the hangars. Back then, he was just an ordinary Skibidi with an ordinary white toilet, but he had one difference that you're unlikely to notice because it's impossible to see. He had a goddamn huge brain, and now we know that. It's important to note that besides him, there were two other Skibidi Toilets in the hangar who looked like scientists. I guess it's not hard to realize because they were wearing glasses, so they weren't Skibidi Toilets for battles. There was also a Skibidi Cat and some kind of engineer, but I don't think that's important to us right now. Yeah, I'm sure those smart guys in glasses are just coming up with some technology, and it's being assembled and built by other Skibidi Toilets. That makes sense. After that point, we didn't see Skibidi Scientist until episode 30, but then he came back and changed the game. But first, let's talk about his improvements, because now it's no longer a harmless grandpa with glasses in a white toilet. First of all, the scientist made robotic arms on the sides, and one big one on top. This is very important because regular Skibidi Toilets don't have limbs, and it's hard for them to invent something because of that. I think he has some sort of engineers who assemble all the huge combat toilets, and most likely the scientist made mechanical arms for them as well. There's also some kind of device next to his eye. I used to think it was a scanner or something related to science, but this big fake copy could fire from a device like this, so maybe it's even a laser cannon. We'll come back to him later, but for now let's talk about the real scientist. His toilet is now black, and we know these are newer and more durable versions. But how was he able to move himself from one toilet to another? And is it actually possible? I have two theories about that. We remember that there was an explosion in the Skibidi Toilets hangar at the end of episode 16, but it's unclear what caused it. There's a chance that the scientist was injured because of it, and maybe his toilet was destroyed. After that, he could probably make a new toilet for himself, although it's almost impossible since he doesn't even have any limbs. But okay, maybe the other Skibidi helped him with that, who knows? But I have another theory, and it's a lot crazier than the last one. Notice the parasite is right in the scientist's mouth. I have no idea how that's possible if Skibidi Scientist is fully alive. That being said, since episode 60 we have seen a huge version, and I had a theory that this geek created a device to enlarge himself and other Skibidi. But now we know that's not true, and in fact the huge scientist was actually just a robotic puppet. But what if that Skibidi Toilet we saw in episode 30 isn't real either? That would explain the fact that the parasite came out of his mouth because it's just a robot with storage inside it. It's possible that the real scientist is so narcissistic that he just created a lot of clones of himself who create other Skibidi Toilets and do all the hard work, because I doubt this guy could create it all by himself. Okay, so now let's talk about parasites. After their appearance, the Skibidi Toilets were able to gain a strong advantage in the war, because they even captured Titan Speakerman to their side. I've been thinking about how parasites work, and I've come to the conclusion that they are not actually alive. The parasites are probably just mechanized cyborgs that have a connector and an antenna to transmit a signal. We know that all Alliance agents are robotic too, which means that they can be controlled by plugging into their bodies. That's exactly what the parasite does, but it's unlikely that he controls his victim himself. It's more likely that he transmits the signal to the Skibidi toilet space, and from a group of trained scientists control each agent from there. That said, when the big Titan Speakerman's parasite was destroyed, we saw blood, so maybe they are half-alive cyborgs. I don't know. Another powerful invention of the Skibidi Scientist is mutants. This guy was able to combine a Skibidi toilet with a big agent's body somehow, and create very strong soldiers that way. Skibidi toilets have no arms and no legs, but even so, they managed to fight on equal terms with the Alliance army. Just imagine what would happen if they could make a body for all their guys, how much stronger they would become after that. I can assume that the Skibidi Scientist can turn himself into a mutant and become much stronger. But can he increase his size? That's a good question, because we saw that the huge copy of Skibidi Scientist turned out to be just a fake. But from the beginning, we saw Skibidi toilets of different sizes, and I really wonder how they were able to get bigger, and whether they are real or not. That's a question I won't be able to answer because I don't know exactly how Skibidi toilets came to be in general. We saw in episode 4 how regular people sat on toilets and became Skibidi toilets when they heard the song, but that was a long time ago. I'm not sure Dafuq seriously thought this meme would go this far, and it's unlikely he was thinking of any plot. So we'll only get to know it better if we learn more about Skibidi toilets in the new episodes. I'm really expecting that because, as you may remember, the squad of special agents is trapped in a locked bunker. There's a big chance that that's where we'll find out about all the Skibidi toilet secrets that we didn't even know about before. But anyway, we saw that the huge G-Man was just a clone in episode 65. Also, at the end of episode 67, the Titans fought an army of G-Man clones, and that's insane if you ask me. But now we can't know for sure if G-Man even exists, since we've always only seen him being huge. What if G-Man is just a big idol for the other toilets and they're ready to follow him into battle? But okay, we're getting into conspiracy theories. Let me show you something you may not have noticed. Remember when Titan Speakerman stabbed the cannon on the scientist's head? We saw the number 2 symbol on that cannon, and that could mean that there's a second version of the giant robotic scientist. I've also noticed some differences between him and the version from past episodes, so it's possible. By the way, if you don't know what I'm talking about, check out this video. We saw 3 G-Man clones at the same time. Come on! In fact, there could be any amount of different clones and versions of Skibidi Scientist of different sizes, and with different abilities here. And now I have another question. Is that little scientist we saw at the end of episode 67, part 4, real or not? He didn't have the scanner or the cannon on his head that the previous version from episode 30 had, but it's all clear with this guy. He had a damn Skibidi parasite inside him, so he's definitely a mechanized cyborg or completely robotic. But this scientist's face looks just like it did when he first appeared. Is it possible that we've seen the original Skibidi Scientist who upgraded himself? By the way, he turned himself into a parasite. Compare it for yourself. He also has 4 legs, 2 claws, and possibly a tongue connector. We've already seen one on his big puppet. The scientist took the camera defenses from the Titan cameraman that way. It seems he's turned himself into a parasite and infected a giant robotic toilet Skibidi with himself. Damn, that's genius! But I doubt it was the real Skibidi Scientist, to be honest. I just don't believe that such a smart character would risk himself just to fight the Titans. Why would he do that? Most likely the one we saw was just a parasite, or one of the scientist's clones who controlled a larger version of him. We're in a situation where anyone could be fake or a puppet. And now it's hard to tell if G-Man even exists at all. Just imagine that the real G-Man is a regular-sized toilet with a small head. It's very funny, I think. At the end of the episode, the scientist in the spider version flew into the bunker, and most likely no one else should have been there except him. But thanks to Dafuq, POV cameraman spotted this, and now we'll most likely see the Skibidi toilet base in the new episodes from the inside. I think there will definitely be the newest versions of the Skibidi toilets inside, and maybe even the failed versions. It would also be interesting to meet peaceful Skibidi who will be afraid of the agents and run away from them. Either way, I think the TV men will teleport inside to help the agents who are stuck in the bunker. I guess if Boom doesn't want to develop his series in the underground location, the TV men will just come in and teleport all the agents away from there, and we'll only find out a small piece of information about the Skibidi toilets. But I really want the new episodes to be in this particular bunker because it's very epic, I'm not gonna lie. It would also be cool to explore the TV man base because it looked very unusual. And maybe in these videos you'll find more interesting information about all of this. Only real Chads subscribe to the channel and put a like on this video. I'm waiting for you in the next video, and that was me, ISO Toilet. See ya!